Okay, can you hear me better? Okay, I wonder what the problem was. I had changed nothing except made from from my site to YouTube. Okay, now, Mike, you've been here this afternoon, and we worked on the Jimmy Chapin book. You have everybody here has the PDFs. I'll wait for Paul. Paul will be here. First off, like I said, what I'm going to be doing Wednesday is some drum pad application, some hand technique, and what I do in the afternoon when I go up back to my website, what I'm going to do is do a drum set application. Okay, so there's some things, like I said, I would like to straighten out that's been going around, and I don't think that's a good thing. There's 5 people in here, and I only see 4. 1, 2, 3, 3. All right, that's all right. I wish that they would get into the chat. Okay, now, Susan, you weren't here. How are you making out with your coordination thing that you have that course on? Are you doing okay with that? Any issues you want to address? Playing jazz time, or you're having a hard time? Okay. Well, concentration or approach. The concentration has to be intense. Okay, how was your reading? Can you read well? You know, quarter notes, eighth notes? Because I'll give you right now, and the approach is good. Okay, do you count when you're playing with that approach? All right, well, you have to get your reading skills. Okay, I don't know what I just said it was. Anyway, you have to count at first. Eventually, you just let it flow. Let me give you an exercise. 4 limbs. And are you familiar with Joe Morello's Table of Time? You want to concentrate and focus. Here's what we're going to do. And this is going to be good for you, Mike, and Michael, and Paul. What I'm going to do is use 4 limbs. But I'm going to count in 16, so I'm going to play quarter notes with my 4 limbs. I'm going to count 1, E, and the 2, E, and the 3, E, and the 4, E, and the. That's going to do it slow. The slower you do something, the more control you're going to obtain. Now, speed will not exist unless you have control. So, I'm going to use 4 voices. I'm going to use my ride cymbal, my bass drum, my snare drum, and my hi-hat. All right, well, we're going to figure it out right now. This is a good exercise for that. What you're going to do, you're going to count, like I said, the way I just count a 16th note formation, you're going to do, you hit 4 limbs at once, like this. 1 E and the 2 E and the 3 E and the 4 E and the. And you want to maintain a nice balance between the ride cymbal, the snare, the bass drum, and the hi-hat. Now, we're going to start with 8th notes. 8th note counting is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Sorry about that, with the left hand. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the quarter notes again. 1 E and the 2 E and 3 E and the 4 E and the. But now, I'm going to assign my right foot to play 8th notes against that. 1 E and the 2 E and 3 E and the 4 E and 1 E and the 2 E and 3 E and the 4 E and. How you doing, Paul? Welcome back. So I'm playing quarter notes, and and I assigned my bass drum, okay, to play eighth notes. If I was just counting eighth notes, and I'm going to play the quarter notes on top, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and the eighth notes, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I assigned my bass drum to play the eighth notes against the quarters. Now, I'm still going to play quarters, but this time around, I'm going to assign my right hand on the ride cymbal to play eighth notes against that. So I'm playing quarter notes. 1, 2, 3. Watch this now. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, you follow me, Susan? All right, now I just did the bass drum, the ride cymbal. Now I'm going to do the left hand, playing eighth notes, while all the other limbs play quarter notes. One measure quarter notes first, then my left hand is going to be doing eighth notes. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's not a problem, Susan. What that does is make you stronger and concentrate on controlling the limbs. What is the problem? So we can address it and we can all help each other out here. What is the problem? The approach you have to take is you have to count and do it slow. For example, looking at the different lines. Like the key, like one line is the bass drum, one line is the snare drum. All right, well, if you're going to read a chart, I mean, charts are really road maps. If you want to learn, coordination is what you want to do. For example, all right, let's take, do you have Gary Chaffee's time functions? At the right times. I don't know. I mean, I think, all right. I think that approach that you're doing at the right times, you have to take one measure at a time. Let me just give you an example. What you need to do, let's say you have the first measure that you're playing, and you look at the ride cymbal part. Then you look at the snare drum part. Then you look at the bass drum part and the hi-hat part, the four limbs. Now, if you're trying, what you're trying to do, all right, let's say I want to play the paradiddle between the right hand and the left hand on the snare drum and the hi-hat. Now, that's a very simple pattern. If it was written out rather, you would see the right hand on the hi-hat, the left hand on the snare. So I would take those two elements and work them. 1, you count them slow. 2, and 3, and 4, and so I'm doing that over and over again. I'm not trying to play, and I'm trying to find out where the bass drum is at. So I dissected the hi-hat part and the snare drum part. And I say, okay, where's the bass drum fall? Let's say the bass drum falls on the 1 and 3. You see it written out. And I'll send you some charts, okay? You see the bass drum is on 1 and 3. So I'm counting at first 1 eanda, 2 eanda, 3 eanda, 4 eanda. My bass drum is on 1 and 3. 1 eanda, 2 eanda, 3 eanda, 4 eanda. So now what I did is I dissected my right hand part, my left hand part, okay, and my bass drum. Now I put them together. Slowly is the key. The bass drum now is on 1 and 3 against this pattern. I'm going to do it real slow at first. 1, and an accent on 2. 2, and E, and 3, over again. 1, E, and the 2, E, and the 3, E, and the 4, E, and the. Now, what I did, I played the first exercise, one of the exercises, number 1, in time functions, Gary Shafee's book, and I used my cymbal and snare pattern as a paradiddle. And I played my bass drum on 1 and 3. But notice I was counting. You can't approach it like and start playing it that way until you understand what's occurring. Now, if you were a seasoned player, you were off the road with Sting or something like that, that would be no problem with you because you have that ability. I mean, you do have the ability, but you don't know how to get it, grab it. So now, let me take you to another zone here. We're doing the paradiddle, which is constant. If it was written out, you don't have to separate it, you analyze it. It's 1, E, and 2, 3, E, and 4, E, and So, I played the bass drum on 1 and 3. That's slow. So I got a little bass. Now, we're going to take the bass drum this time and move it over 1. Instead of me playing on the counts of 1 and 3, I'm going to play it on the E of 1 and the E of 3 against the top pattern. 1, 3, and 4, and 1, and. Now, if you would like, Susan, I'll send you the PDF on that. And the thing is to do it slow. Now, guys, we've been working here. Mike and Michael and Paul. Who else is in here? Can you add anything to helping Susan out a little bit? What your journey was in developing coordination, gentlemen? Can we help? How did you? I like the 4 limb exercise. Do triplets. Hello? Anybody here? Respond, people? Help? I'm sure there is, but the thing is, the things that there's certain things I could do well, there's certain things I can't do it well. And it's like anybody else. Oh, that's good. But see, that doesn't, all right, around the kit, and with the metronome at 160, you know, whatever you want to do, we're developing the coordination for you, is what you're well, as fast as you can control it. See, speed doesn't really matter. I'm sure that, you know, you say you played the paradiddle around the kit. But I guarantee, did you learn the paradiddle like down, up, tap, tap, down, up, tap, tap? Did you learn it that way, Susan? I mean, you know, we could take the grid, the paradiddle grid, go. At an astronomical speed. Well, what does that tell me? That doesn't help me. I'm not looking to play speed. I'm looking to groove and develop correct technique. You ever learned the paradiddle like down, up, tap, tap, down, up, tap, tap, down? Have you ever learned it that way? Or do you have Charlie Wilcoxon's rudimental swing? You learned down, up, tap, tap. Who did you learn that from? You never learned it. You don't have the book. You know what the grid is. Well, you know, some videos are really good. I say this, you know, I observe a lot of drummers because this is what I do. I'm an educator. And I see a lot of videos on YouTube. And there are some really, really good videos. About 5% of the 100% videos that are on YouTube. Now, it's not because I think that they're terrible, but some of the approaches that they're doing, I can't agree with. And it defies the laws of gravity and physics. Because that's all it is. Videos are good. You see somebody doing something, that's not, you know, and you can hear it and play it, that's good. That's a good quality. That's a talent. But if you don't know what they're doing, what is the sense? I can watch a video without the volume and tell you exactly what he's doing. That's a journey for me. I mean, whatever, you know, whatever information you can get it, but don't get the bad information, because if you do that, you're going to get, you're going to practice incorrectly, or you're going to develop incorrectly, and you're going to develop some bad habits. You know, there are some good videos out there, but educational videos is what you're looking for. You're not looking for performance videos. You know, Susan, where are you from? Did you say you were from Pennsylvania or New Jersey? You look for the educational ones or the performance ones? I'm not sure what you're talking about. It's hard. All right, I'm in New Jersey too. What you should do, I'm going to give you my number, and I'm in New Jersey. Yeah, that's right. You're from, you're from down the shore, I guess. What was that? Down by Barnegat, I guess. AC, you're in AC. Okay, good. Okay. I'm going to give you my number. I'm going to email you my phone number, and I'm going to talk to you about this. Near Atlantic City. Okay. I'm going to talk to you about it, and I'm going to start to develop a lesson that's going to help you, and it's going to help everybody here. It's an approach. You know, playing drums is not a sport. It's not a competitive thing. It's a journey, all right, that we're all on. And I love all drummers, with the exception of maybe 2 or 3 or 4 that have the arrogance, which is I don't deal with. But you know, we're all on the same journey, and that's to become better. We are in different places. I mean, I've been playing 100 years. You know, some guys have only been playing 6 years. Some guys have been playing 20 years, or ladies, or whatever. And we're all in the same, we're all on the same journey, but we're in a different place. Now, I'm going to try to help you out as much as possible, Susan, but I do have a lesson that I would like to give tonight from the Jim Chapin book. Do you have the Jim Chapin book by any chance? That's this guy. You have my printout? What I did, all right, let's talk about the printout that I sent you. I sent you a couple of them. And Michael and Paul, you still here, Paul? Mr. Paul? Okay. First off, my lessons are primarily focused around stick control. That's the book that is golden. All other books absolutely are written from that book. I shouldn't say that because somebody's going to shoot me, I don't put anyone else's books down because there's some really great books out there. Okay, if you have stick control book, that's my problem. What happened? Oh, mercy. Okay. Let's talk about one of the PDFs I've given you, or sent you. You're laughing, Paul, stop laughing at me. This is not the comedy hour. Anyway, we're going to talk about, the way the stick control book is presented. And I have about literally thousands and thousands of different ways to do that. Yeah, you saw the dark side of the moon. I've seen the dark side of my drum set. All right, the way the stick control book, and I have videos. Paul, Michael, behave. All right, I have videos on YouTube explaining the way George Lawrence Stone intended the stick control to be. I might send it to you, or I'll tell you where it's at. Subscribe to my channel. And you have to understand, you saw some, okay, good. All right, the stick control book is about making the right side and the left side, when you execute with your hands, equal. And like I said this afternoon, I was going off because I was ranting and I was upset, because there's a video coming out there which has totally bad information. And it really, excuse me, pissed me off. Only because I studied with the same person for 30 years. That this gentleman said this is what he taught. No way. And that's what I'm talking about. You're getting some bad information. And this guy's extremely visible in the drum community. But that's irrelevant. When I hit the pad Wednesday, that's where we're going to go with the hand development. I don't want to develop it now. Let's go back to the stick control book. And I was saying the stick control book is presented as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay. Now, there's thousands of different ways to interpret that, as making formulas, substitutions, replacements, or whatever. Okay, what I've done with that one sheet that I sent you called dotted eighth notes, I'm going to interpret the whole page differently, but I'm going to maintain the sticking pattern because of the brilliance of George Lawrence Stone. George Lawrence Stone set that whole thing up with, I guess, the binary system, or I don't know what you want to call it. I don't want to get into that. How to develop, make the right hand and the left hand equal. All right, so I'm not rewriting by no means the book. I worship the book. I have a stick control book in every room of my house. Okay, so what we're going to do, instead of interpreting 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, we're going to interpret the first line as dotted eighth notes. The first note is going to be the dotted eighth note. The next note, which is the left, is going to be the remainder of the 16th note pulse. 1 E and 2 E and E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1. You might see a little clearer with line 3. Okay, I'm maintaining the sticking right, left. And what I'm doing is now I'm going to interpret the line in dotted eighth notes. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and. Do we all understand that so far? Is there any issues you want to bring up with that or talk about? We understand it? You understand it, okay. Now, here's just another way to interpret, excuse me, this stuff. To interpret that, when I say substitution. The first line, we're playing 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and. So what we're going to do, instead of using the right hand on the snare drum or on the one surface, We're going to take it, make the right, all rights, the bass drum. So now this is what happens with that. Instead of 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and bass drum now. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and now that's my interpretation. I've changed it, but I still maintain the concept, right, left, but I'm thinking of it differently. And I'm going to think of the whole page or whole 3 pages that way. Instead of me playing on one surface now, I'm taking all the rights and playing with the bass drum, all the lefts with the snare drum. So now I'm going to take, say, line 3. That's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And I'm going to make that the dotted 8th note, substituting instead of the right hand on one surface, the bass drum. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and okay? Now, that's, if you go through the whole 3 pages like that, it's just a different approach, a different interpretation, but it's still maintaining the sticking patterns the way George Lawrence Stone intended it to be, with some substitutions. Now, once you do that, you feel good. It's not about speed. It's not about maneuvering around the drum set. It's about controlling your limbs, rather. So what we're going to do now, in addition to playing just the snare drum and the bass drum, we're going to add the hi-hat. So now we're going to use 3 voices. Now, the hi-hat, in this particular case, is what I like to do, is I'm counting right now 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. I want to play the hi-hat on the counts of 1. The hi-hat's going to be, heel's going to be on 1, toe is going to be on 2. Heel's going to be on 3, toe is going to be on 4. Without anything else but the hi-hat, I'm just going to count, you're going to hear it. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4. Okay, what's the question, Susan? Shoot. The feet, what about the feet? All rights become the bass drum. You can play, I prefer, depending on the tempo. With the bass drum, you can play, you know, flat-footed, or if you want to get it, they call it a kick, you know, with the toe up, and you want to play faster, you know, it's a little bit easier to play with the heel up, and you're burying the beater into the bass drum. I have flip-flops on, but that's the heel up. You get more out of this physically in developing muscles if you play with the flat-footed. So, for example, like I said, I used the hi-hat. That's a heel, comes down on 1. That opens the hi-hat. On the count of 2, my heel is up, and I squished the hi-hat to get the chick on 2. And I'm going to do 3. Same thing. Heel's on 3, opens up my hi-hat. On the count of 4, I'm going to bring my heel up, my toe down to squish it. So I get a chick. 1 E and the 2 E and the 3 E and the 4. So my left foot is using heel and toe all the time against that pattern. 1 E and the 2 E and the 3 E and the 4 E and. Now, I'm playing with my heel flat-footed with my bass drum. And I'm hitting it a little harder tonight. Okay, but you want to blend in the 3 voices and make them sound almost like one note. So you're playing the bass drum and the hi-hat, 1 E and the snare drum rather, 1 E and 2 consistent. You're not playing rock, 1 E and 2, yeah, 1 E and 2 E and 3. We're not playing hard. We're playing soft, 1 E and 2. Nice and musical. and the 2 E and the 3 E and the 4. Okay? That was the interpretation that I sent you. That was actually step 2 from, you're adding the hi-hat. The next move would be using the ride cymbal. Now, are you familiar with the level system, Susan? The free stroke, down, free stroke. I'm going to play the first line all together with everything. I'm going to play the bass drum, the snare drum, the hi-hat, and my ride cymbal. That's just a up tempo. So, what I do with my ride cymbal, what you do with the bass drum, on one surface, it's demonstrated that this is a free stroke on one surface. Okay? Now, I'm not going to hit a cymbal from that point. That's terrible. So now I establish a point where I'm going to put my free stroke. Say I'm at about 3 or 4 inches off the cymbal itself. If I do a free stroke, I'm not passing that 3 or 4 inches. Listen to the sound, they're all the same. Free stroke, free stroke, free stroke, free stroke. Now, I'm going to implement the levels into that jazz pattern using the dotted eighths. I don't like to use that, but I'm demonstrating what Jim Chapin put into his book. Like I said, I don't really like to teach out of that book because, in my opinion, it does not swing. But it does give you an insight of how the notation falls, which is okay. The book, I think, was written in 1948, had all kinds of reissues. So in the last, I think, 8, 9 years or whatever, they put a disc with a CD with the book. And instead of playing on a ride cymbal, it's done on a hi-hat at some ridiculous speed that you hear it, but you're not instructed of how it falls. This is what this lesson is about, on how it falls. So if I put it all together with that ride cymbal, with the free stroke, 1 E and the 2 E and the 3 E and the 4 E and the 1, 2, 3. Now I'm going to get free stroke, down, a free stroke, down. All 4 notes sound the same. Now I'm going to play that first line, right foot and left hand. Now, I'm locking it in on the free stroke down, a free stroke down. Well, I can play freely. This is for execution of the lesson, developing control of what you do. You're saying right in, that's what you're going to play. Okay, left foot, this is what you're going to play. And whatever the stick control tells you to do, with our approach now, or interpretation, you do. Line 3. Here you go. Put everything together. Understand it? Now, I don't have enough time right now to do the whole 12 lines, or 10 lines I sent, or the 12 lines from Stick Control book. But come Wednesday, I might even do an extra lesson this week on YouTube demonstrating hand technique. I will send everybody an email if I decide to do that, the time on YouTube on the drum pad. But Wednesday I'm going to work on some hand technique, and I have maybe 1 or 2 more pages to do with all the PDFs that you're going to get, and I'm going to send them to you either later on this evening or sometime tomorrow. So check your mail, and I'll give you the agenda, or the times rather, and where we're going to be doing the lesson. Okay, so I apologize about the volume on my site. I don't know why that was, but I'm going to see what caused that. I'm going to have to close up. Do we have any questions? If you have some questions, you have no problem. All right, we're good. All right, I'm going to email you my phone number, Susan. You can call me. I'm in my studio until, who knows, my studio is in my home. And the studio is 30 foot by 30 foot. So I'm in my studio all the time. You might catch me on a nap or something, but I might be a little cranky, but I'll wake up, okay? Now, do we have any questions on anything? Now, if you want to, Susan, if you want to attend these classes, I will give you a list of books you should want to purchase that all the gentlemen in here have been working on so vigilantly. You're good, Mike? How about Michael Lewis and Paul and whoever else is in here, all 95 people? Michael's okay. Paul, you okay? So, Susan, you have any questions? Everybody's good. Okay. Everybody have a good evening, and we'll see everybody Wednesday. Wednesday at 1 p.m. is definitely going to be on YouTube. So if there's no questions, I'm going to sign up, and sign out rather, and I'll email everybody their PDFs. Good night, Paul. Michael and Mike so far are coming in October. You're welcome, you're welcome. Isn't that nice? Everybody gets along so well in here. No fighting. Isn't that nice? The world should be just like this. Okay, people, have a good night. All right, I'll send you my number. Have a good evening, everybody.